Happy Easter. Today is Easter. Made some ham. She made some mashed potatoes. I bought some ham and made it. Did the traditional thing. Decided to come out for a hike. Not much to really talk about. Just more random, hear my own voice kind of stuff. My current job is to basically babysit my grandmother, right? Doesn't pay, not really. But if somebody asked me what my job was, that's pretty much what it is. Another part that I do now is I'm helping out another old guy that lives nearby. Which is also cool. He pays, so it's nice. One of the things I do to help this old guy is he lives in a duplex, a double house, a house with two sides, two rentable apartments. And the other half was rented by this guy, one I spoke about in a video, I'm sure. He was one of the first people to have an open hatred towards me for no reason. But, that seems to be a common theme for a lot of stuff in my life. With that being said, there was drugs involved, and they had a kid, and one thing to another, they moved. When they moved, they left all their crap behind, or a large majority of their crap behind. So I've been helping him move out a few boxes a week to the trash. And turns out there's a lot of stuff in there. Like some of it's kind of cool, like 8-tracks. Like, I can't remember the last time I seen an 8-track. An 8-track was before MP3, before CDs, before cassettes. We're talking like, probably, don't quote me here, we're probably talking somewhere in the 70s. I think they were after vinyl records, but before cassette tapes. So, that was kind of cool. I was going to see about trying to sell them, but turns out they're pretty much worthless. So I thought there'd be a collector, but apparently they're like a dime a dozen. So that didn't work out so great. But I did happen to come across 2 brand new ankle braces. And I was thinking about buying one anyway. And this way, I'm glad I didn't, because now I had 2 of them. I gave one to my ever so loving, endearing brother. I picked the one I liked more and gave him the other one because he's having a leg issue. Technically, I don't really need 2 of them anyway. The downside to this is, well, the good thing is I didn't buy one, because I tried to wear it on a hike and it made my ankle worse. I tried to wear it again today, thinking that I just need to get used to it. I made it halfway here and was like, way worse. Like, way worse than if I was just walking without it. So I'm glad I didn't buy one. I figure it's one of those things that if I injure myself again, or maybe if I get a job and it's a lot of standing, maybe it'd be alright. But if I need full motion of my ankle, like hiking, it's not going to do me much good. So I had to take it off halfway up here. So that's both good and bad. At least I have one now. But I'm glad I didn't buy one for I think they're like $15 or something. And I know to some people $15 is a drop in a bucket, but for me, $15 is like 30% of my monthly income. So I'm glad I didn't buy one. So if you're thinking about buying an ankle brace for a minor injury, I wouldn't suggest buying it if you're going to use it to walk long distances. It's not gonna fly. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a previous video, which I posted or not. Don't know if I'm posting this one, but not sure I mentioned in a previous video. But I went to good old Dollar General and bought a pair of shoes for $8, right? Now, I know what you're thinking, and I thought the same thing. I was like, these shoes are going to be complete garbage, and they're probably going to fall apart in less than a month. But a month was all I really needed, because I didn't want another pair of shoes laying around if I'm leaving. Just a waste of money. What I didn't account for is how horribly uncomfortable they are. Like, downright horrible. So I decided I was going to keep those instead of trying to return them. And I'd use them just for cutting grass until I leave. And I went to Goodwill to pick up another pair of shoes. These were also, I think, $10. They are probably a half a size too small, but they are wicked comfortable. And they look kind of cool. And they're really light. So it's like, it's really good all around. I mean, they could be a half size bigger, probably, but having them fit tightly and snugly, it makes them just a little bit more comfortable and stable, because they don't have any ankle support. So, that's that. Not disappointed. I was more disappointed in my first purchase, but I didn't want to wear the hiking boots that I plan to take with me too much, because I don't want to wear them out before I even get to the trail, because that would be a money pit. Shoes are expensive, unfortunately. Well, it seems to be that a lot of things that people need or are almost needed are extremely expensive. You got milk and eggs are up in price, shoes, clothes, vehicles, gas. Like, all that stuff seems to be grossly inflated. Would be my analysis of the situation. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it takes money to process these products, but I can't help but feel that there's some probably like $1 leeway gap. Like, for a gallon of milk is $5 here. If they sold it for $4 or $4.50, they'd probably still be making money. But that's not how the world works. So, as unfortunate as that is, that's the world we live in. Now, shoes, you're talking, to get a decent pair, you're talking probably $70 to get a decent pair of shoes. I mean, yeah, you can go to Wally World and buy any pair of shoes, and they might last you a little while. They might be comfortable, but they're not going to be nothing compared to, like, a really good pair of shoes. When I was shopping around Goodwill, now, Goodwill is a company that gets all their merchandise donated to them. So, I was looking at some of the shoes, and they had some pairs of Jordans. They weren't in my size. And they had one pair that was like all red, that was in my size, but I'm not doing the clown shoe thing. I don't know what that is. Like, I noticed there was a huge fad in my town where a lot of the African population was all wearing bright red shoes. And I'm like, that's not for me, you know. So I avoided the bright red shoes and I went for these ones. But anyway, back to the Jordans. Now, these guys get these shoes donated for free. I'm not sure what the process is for cleaning them. And I'm not sure how much they pay their employees. But they were charging $35 for a secondhand pair of Jordans that wasn't even in great shape. And it just made me think, like, this place, maybe once upon a time it was established with the thought of helping people in mind. But if they put $10 on those shoes, they'd probably fly off the shelf, helping somebody, and be a quick turnover, so they'd put out more product. But what do I know? Obviously, even if I had the money, I would never buy a pair of shoes for $35 that were pre-owned. Like, I could get, with the state in which these shoes were in, I could get a brand new pair of generic shoes that would probably have lasted an equal amount of time. So, it was just like, why would I do this when I could just buy a new pair? So that kind of irked me, because there wasn't just one pair. There were several pairs that were like 30, 25. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Shoes are expensive. And the name brand makes them more expensive. But to Goodwill, a pair of shoes should just be a pair of shoes. Like I don't get it, you know? I would think for Goodwill, they'd want a high turnover rate, and to help as many people as they can, because they get all their products for free, and all they're paying for would be employees and whatever cleaning process they do, which I'm sure isn't an extensive process. Once again, what do I know? Is there anything else that was on my mind? Not really, huh? I'm always thinking. It just doesn't really make much of a difference. I've been laying down comments on a lot of YouTube videos, mostly podcasts, but I feel like I usually get one like on my comments, and I think it's probably the guy that makes the video. It makes me wonder how many real people actually are on, like, actually commenting and reading the comments. Because, you know, I like and expect feedback. I like and expect to know other people's opinions so I can adjust my opinion based off others' experiences and thoughts. I live a rather secluded life, for the most part, no fault of my own, really. And when I was younger, I used to travel a lot, and seeing a large amount of different ways people lived got me having, in my opinion, better perspectives. But since I've been stuck in this town for 7 years, the most I have to go on is my personal thoughts. And as I like to think, I am an all-knowing, well-rounded, well-adjusted, very empathetic genius. I'm probably not. So having other people's thoughts and comments helps me put myself in perspective of what I might misconstrue or blow out of proportion, and what maybe I'm not taking as serious as I should. So, yeah. I've been watching this one guy. He does like recaps on movies, like horror movies, on how he would survive. And I said, like, a lot of the movies he does, you have these average Joes, these just average people, someone like me, put into a situation where these are experienced murderers, or supernatural monsters, or some government conspiracy escape room hypercube scenario. And realistically, even if you put unarmed, trained military men in the same situation, realistically, they're probably not going to make it out unscathed. Because what you got is, in a lot of cases, the monster in the horror film, whether it be person, supernatural, machine, whatever it may be, has experience doing this. So if you're even 4 trained military guys on a road trip through, I don't know, Wrong Turn, inbred hillbillies in West Virginia, or Leatherface chainsaw dude in Texas, they're not only going to have the element of surprise, they're not going to really expect that there's going to be a whole cult of serial killing maniacs, setting traps for them. So it's like, and not to mention, this guy's analysis is based off of knowing everything that's going to happen, pre-watching the movie, and looking at it through clear, unadrenaline-induced eyes, with a stable mind of an outside view. And I understand that's part of the point. Like, I understand that's part of what he's doing. Like, he's analyzing the video from a what you should do, and I understand that. But basically anybody, unless you are, you just happen to do this your entire life, like you just happen to escape cults your entire life, or you just happen to be a werewolf hunter or something, you're not going to have that experience level, and the shock factor is real. So, I feel like it's, yeah, I get what you're doing, and I enjoy it. I've been binge watching them. But at the same time, I'm like, more than likely, even if you had some sense of self, you would still only be somewhere in the middle. You might not be getting butchered the first 30 seconds, but you're not going to make all the right choices and walk away scot-free. So, but of course, once again, that's my opinion. Like, people don't have... Living in the world we live in, we don't have combat experience on a daily basis. We ain't being chased with axes and, psychopaths with cleavers, every day. So if this happened to just occur, like you're on a road trip, or like right now I'm in the middle of the woods, this would kind of just occur, then, what would I do? Like, what I have on me, not much of anything. My best bet would probably be, let me think, depending on the threat. Let's say it's human, because it's most realistic. Depending on the threat, as long as they didn't have any firearms. So let's say it's Jason Voorhees is coming at me out here in the woods. So Jason Voorhees is visiting a random town in Pennsylvania. He's out on the hiking trail looking for his next victim, right? If that was the case, considering what items I have with me and my knowledge, I think what I would do would drop absolutely everything that would weigh me down and make it across the river. And then head to the nearest town. Because unless Mr. Voorhees has a GPS or a cell phone with internet, he's not going to really know where to go, and I do. So, but realistically, if something like that happened right now, I'd probably be dead. Like, I have no reasonable way to fight back. And as much as I like to think that I would stand a chance in a fist fight, even if somebody like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers dropped their weapon and wanted to come at me fisticuffs, they're virtually impervious to pain, and they're like twice my body mass. Realistically, my chances would be 10% at best. And that would be me playing it cool. Like, that would be me not freaking out, aiming for important joints, blocking a punch, kicking in the kneecap kind of thing. Not, being as smart as humanly possible. That would be my 10% chance. Realistically, I would probably be toast. I would be, That'd be the next deer steak. Who knows? That's just my opinion. I did think of a couple of things. So, when I was walking up here, I seen a couple of people, right? 2 different cars. Well, one pretty much drove up, turned around and come back, right? The other guys drove up, turned around on their bikes after they got, like, not too far on the trail, got back in their car and left, and they went to the other side. I thought that was very peculiar. Another thing is, I did something a little out of character lately. I joined a dating website. Don't ask me why. I mean, I've dated one, I dated one before. I joined a dating site before, but I pretty much made an account and then never went back on. And, it was like, I kept seeing advertisements for it, and I couldn't sleep one night, so I went and made a profile. I'm not holding my breath, but I figured at the very least, it'll be an interesting experiment. The problem with dating sites is, often, in most cases, there are far, far, far more men than women. So, you know, I like to think I'm like as average as humanly possible. So there'd be a lot of people that are above me. So that aspect of dating sites is a little bit unfair. Tilts the scales. But I figured, what the heck. Another thing with dating sites is, now I'm not saying this to be mean, but a lot of the girls are usually, quite a bit on the heavier side. And I don't like to judge, but this is like my main hobby. And I want somebody that wants to do this with me. And that narrows down the dating pool drastically. So it's I'm not holding my breath. Still waiting for this job to call me back. I realized the mistake on my background check, so I had to call them, and they said it ain't gonna matter, but with it being a holiday, it's gonna take longer to get it processed, so I might not even hear anything to the end of the month, which is, again, not holding my breath, but it'd be nice to know one way or the other. For me, getting a job is going to change a lot. But if I don't get the job, it really doesn't change anything. Just one more added disappointment. So that's my thought process there, right? In that aspect, in that thought process, I have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So, might as well go for it, right? I got a tip off about a couple other jobs, but if these low-hanging fruit jobs, these jobs that are, anybody could do them, won't hire me, I'm not gonna expand my search. When I put in effort, I put in job applications for about 12 places. Now, I understand people go and do so much more, but, you know, my time is finite. And I don't want to spend all my time doing job applications when nobody's going to call me back. So I'm we'll do an Easter themed pun here. I didn't put all my eggs in the same basket, but I'm not spreading them out all over the playing field. You know, I'm not dumb enough to just try one place and give up, but I'm smart enough to not spend a week doing applications just to, you know, have the same result. Oh man, guys, trail is dead today. I was thinking because it's a holiday and because it's like really nice out, there'd be more people. Once again, not really complaining, not really shocked, but still, it's a thought, food for thought. I feel weird, like everything's like hazy. I've been taking allergy medication a bit more often, but I don't see why that would do it. I mean, yeah, I understand why that would do it, but I mean, it's not like I never took allergy medication before. Just feel like everything's glossed over, like everything's fuzzy. I feel like I'm walking on airbags. It's weird. Probably nothing serious. I'd like to contribute it to lack of sleep, but I cut the grass the first time yesterday, and I slept like a baby. I think I'm just gonna start cutting the grass every single day, and then maybe I'll sleep well. I'm headed back. I figure it's getting on to shower and food time. So I went past the tunnel, a couple miles. Like I said, hiking here in and of itself is a hike. Getting to this trail is about probably 3/4 of a mile, maybe a full mile, because I had to go the whole way around. Wish they put a bridge in. It would shorten if they put a bridge that led like almost directly to the trail from my town, it would be like so much shorter just to get here. I don't think that's gonna happen. So, because right now I gotta go from my house the wrong way, down the road, cross the bridge, and then double back. I think I'd hike here a lot more often if there was a bridge that directly connected my town to like close to where this trail started. It would cut out so much, but something else to complain about. I guess doing this hike like this is better training anyway. It's further, more hills. I was considering maybe drinking tonight, but then I remembered it's a holiday. There's probably not many places to go pick up any kind of alcohol today, because it's Sunday and a holiday. So it's probably for the best. I mean, I've been drinking a bit more than I'd like to admit lately. what else is there to do, you know? Sit and stew in my problems and my misunderstandings, or, you know, drink until I can't think no more. Nah, it's not that bad, but in a sense, it's like I can only hike so much. I gotta find something else to kill that time. And there's not a lot of stuff that needs done, so drinking becomes a good way to fill in the time space. I've been drinking a lot of screwdrivers and Shirley Temples lately. I used to drink screwdrivers all the time, but it started giving me really bad heartburn. And now they got some fancy heartburn medication, so I just take it before I'm gonna drink, and then I drink screwdrivers, and it drastically decreases the hangover. Can only assume because all the water and vitamin C and stuff keeping me hydrated. Even if I decide I'm going to drink a 6-pack of beer, and I drink a bottle of water in between every 2 beer, I still get a pretty bad hangover. Well, I can't even say that. I guess for the amount I drink, it's not bad. It's bad enough that I don't really want to do anything. And then again, that might be good too, because then I waste more time watching stupid YouTube videos trying to recoup from the night before. So I basically kill 2 days. Excuse me. I do have something else to talk about. Something happened lately that was a little bit on the weird side, I guess, depending on who you are. I was hiking down the public trail, and this younger guy and girl passed me, probably 14 to 16. The girl looked absolutely miserable. So I was like, hey, what's up? And the guy was like, not much, and they kept walking. She didn't say a word. Made me feel some sort of way. You know, what exactly could I do about it, you know? All I knew was they were alone together in the woods, and dude looked a little shady, and a little too happy, and she looked a little too nice, and a little too sad. I didn't want to throw out any accusations or get involved, because I really wouldn't know what to say. I mean, if I tried asking her directly if she was all right, that could turn into a big thing. And later that same day, I'm walking around trying to find someone to bum a smoke off of, because I didn't want to buy another pack, because I was in the process of trying to quit. I had every intention of drinking that night, and I thought if I just bummed one smoke, I could get through the night, it would be alright. Nobody was around, so I went down to buy a pack, and like 2 or 3 like 12 to 15 year olds went into the porta potty in the middle of the park all at the same time. Again, I really didn't know what to do. I thought between, banging on the door to getting the police involved. But again, the cops are never around when you need them around here. Like, I walked down to the station. I didn't want to call the non-emergency number because you have to go through a bunch of channels and give your name and all that. So I was just going to walk down to the police station, and they obviously weren't drug in there. So I figured, I don't know really what I figured. I figured somewhere between, must be something in the air. Springtime, love is in the air or something. I guess I really wouldn't call that love. I put some thought into it, and I'm like, why would anybody hang out in a porta potty for any reason? But again, I couldn't really talk to a cop because I couldn't find one, and I didn't want to get directly involved because, well, it was, whatever was going on in there was clearly a group effort, and me getting involved would just make me look bad, probably. And it makes you kind of think. The cashier, she was a cute chick. She's my neighbor. She's real cute, but her mom and I are definitely not seeing eye to eye, so I do not associate. And the manager was there, and I was like, there's like 3 kids pouted in that porta-john. I think it's 2 chicks and a dude. What would you do? And he's like, what can you do? Like, you can get a hold of a cop, maybe. And I was like, well, yeah, well. When I got jumped, I said this town's just a training ground for thugs. Maybe it's a training ground for skanks, too. I know that's a bad way of looking at it, but you got your unsupervised, probably hormonal daughters hanging out with guys in the park. I don't know. They're obviously they must be very hands-off, is all I'm saying. And it's just it just makes me think, Makes me kind of concerned. It's one of those things where I look at the world and I'm like, something is drastically wrong here. But at the same time, I'm like, well, looking at my life, looking at the chain of events that got me to where I am, from what I remember and what I know, it may be best that they do it while they're young, because it gets more and more difficult to have any kind of fun, let alone that kind of fun, depending on what social circle you're in and what predicament you're in. So part of me is like, they're young and stupid, yeah, and nothing about the situation seems good, but they gotta learn somewhere at some time, right? And the thing that got me was, it's like right in the middle of town. Like, didn't you go to like the baseball field dugout or the lookout where other chick and dude was? Hardly anybody ever goes there. It's in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's gonna see it or suspect anything. The thing that gets me is, again, I don't want to throw out any accusations, but the thing that gets me is they're doing something they probably shouldn't be doing in public. But if I did something as simple as drank a beer in that porta potty, I'd probably go to jail. Like it's just, I just can't believe how the world works. I could do something that is completely and utterly harmless to anybody, and I could be facing problems. But these guys are doing something that could potentially ruin lives. That could potentially ruin lives for everybody involved. and nobody seems to give a crap. I just don't get it. Don't get it. I actually kind of feel bad. I don't know who to feel bad for, but I kind of feel bad. It's a drastically flawed system. Yeah. I guess if it worked for 50, 60 years, why change it, right? People say that we came a long way. People say that we made a lot of advances. And I can't argue that point. There have been so many things put into position to make life better that it's astronomical compared to like the 50s or 60s, maybe even earlier. But at the same time, a lot of the things that are put into motion to help people, there are also things put into motion that are drastically hurting people. And it's just a train wreck. It's a train wreck. Let me give you a hypothetical or something. I don't know the word for it. Let me give you a scenario. So, I get welfare food stamps, right? I got them for like 7 or 8 years, right? Now, I'm not looking to gift horse in the mouth, you know? I did need them. I do kind of need them because I can't find work. But at the same time, I'm applying and I want to work, but I can't find a job. And then you got people going around running their mouths saying that so many people are on the system and abusing it. But the same system that's looking down on welfare is the system keeping people from me from working. Just think about that. There's a real life scenario for you. The system that hates welfare bums, the group of people that don't like people that abuse the system, also complain that nobody wants to work, but when somebody that is a welfare bum wants to work, they can't find a job. And I can tell you right now, I highly doubt I'm the only one. Then again, how do you fix it? You stop welfare, then people that need it are going to be in real trouble. You give everybody jobs willy-nilly, you could put your business at risk. So, in a sense, I kind of get it. But places like Walmart, Dollar General, Sheetz, it ain't going to kill them to hire people. They make so much stupid amounts of money. It's all about control. If you keep enough people down, they're going to do what they can to get up. And if they're doing what they can to get up, they're probably helping the people that are keeping them down. It's a flawed system. Well, the systems highly cater to the rich and the poor. The systems highly cater to people that already have everything and the people that don't have anything. In a sense. A lot of the middle ground is neglected. I'm poor. I wouldn't consider myself even middle ground anymore. But even when I was in the working class and I was pulling a decent amount of money, I wasn't getting no help. There was no tax breaks for me. There was no donations. There was no helping to get a car. There was no helping to further better my life. If anything, it was worse because I was doing manager work for a regular employee salary or wage. I don't know, those are the same thing. Salary's like yearly. It's wage, I guess. I don't know. the classic 9 to 5. And it's like I could have, there are so many things that could have helped me advance. But the system just isn't there for people like me. Now I'm a little bit more on the poor side, so I get food stamps, and that's a good help. But food stamps ain't going to get me out of this hole. Food stamps ain't going to get me able to stand on my own 2 feet. But I think that's the point. I think it's partially fear that the more people that can stand on their own 2 feet, the less people they have under their thumb. Who are they? Don't know. If I knew that, I might be taking more drastic actions to settle the score. But it's just the principle of the idea. I am getting hungry. Alright, I'm at the end of the trail, so I think I'm done now. Got a nice little chit chat, a little bit of a rant, some talking. Oh, good video. It's a good video.